Listen only mode.
Hi Wilma, can you hear me?
I can. How are you, Amy?
I'm alright, thank you. Are you?
Is it just you and I today? I don't think Liam's able to join us.
Oh right, okay, yeah, may well be then. How was your weekend?
Full on. My friend, yeah, I stayed over with some friends over the weekend, and yeah, it was a very good weekend. Not overly drunk, I don't think.
Yeah,
But
a
yeah,
shame.
very, very full on. I know, no, I'm too old in the tooth for getting too drunk now.
No, I normally end up in bed by 10 o'clock.
That's what I kept saying to my lads. I'll be in bed at 10:30.
Yeah. Oh, well, if it's two of us, then that's not too bad then.
Are we able to record today, Chrissy?
Yeah, it records automatically. So
Oh, staff, brilliant.
yeah, so once it's done, I'll download it and then I'll send it to you sort of this afternoon. Once it's all, I'll send it you in a YouTube link because it's normally too big to
Brilliant.
send via just a normal
Yeah.
recording. So once that's downloaded, I'll send it to you. Okay, so we want to have a look. Oh, Liam's just joined on.
Oh, fabulous. Even better.
There we go. I'll just give him a second.
If you hear me saying get off periodically, it's because I'm writing and the cat has a real
No, you're fine.
lack of boundaries when it comes to pens.
Oh, hi Liam, can you hear us?
Morning, yes, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and
Hi,
clear.
Liam.
Excellent.
It,
Morning.
the three of us on, that's all we were expecting, wasn't it?
Yes.
Right, fab. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yes, I can.
Yeah? Can you see it, Anna? Yeah?
All good, yeah.
Fab. So I've been kind of the course and how you can build either a unit or just some documents within another unit that's already been built. Because I know we were looking at this induction almost unit to spread out across your whole, like all your learners that come in. Now, I thought if we work through that together on my screen, and if you're happy with it, what I can do is the team up in Glasgow can then move it off my site and put it into your live site without you having to replicate it if it's something you want to use. But in the same token, if you're happy with how it's done and then you want to tweak it or, you know, do it yourself or you've got other bits to add to it, then obviously you'll have the recording to be able to work through that. But if I've got obviously this document that you send me, the self-assessment one, something that you want to.
Yep.
So, first things first, I will go into my. This is your system admin. Now, I'm just going to do it in any one, and Glasgow can spread it to all of them, but you can copy pre-done forms as well, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm just going to go into 5530 for now. Which is, so first thing you do is go into your edit button and then you kind of ignore this top bit. This is what, and the order. But I think what we want is an induction. It says add new units. We're going to go from there and we're going to do from a unit, the outcome, and then criteria if needed. So what you may do is your unit title will be, if I can spell, induction. So then with score types or anything like that, guide learning hours, because it's your own developed mon, it will automatically be uploaded. Existing learners, you'd have to kind of go in and select it as an additional unit because it's a new thing that we've added to the site. But if you tick mandatory unit, everyone will then have it. Now,
Yeah, we still found that we had to go. I can't remember whereabouts now. It's been a while.
sorry.
We had to move ours, so even though mandatory had been ticked for certain units, we still had to move ours in the rules of combination.
Let me write that down and I'll take that back to Kirsten.
It might be like you say, that it might be something that we tried to make the changes after there was students on
Yeah, so if
programming, therefore.
you're already enrolled, then it won't automatically upload to their site because it wasn't. Because when they were registered on Learning Assistant, it didn't. It wasn't already a mandatory unit set in. But I'll take it back and check with it. Let me just write that down. I'll just check with her if that's normal or if there's something, maybe a button that we haven't clicked. But as far as I'm aware, if you tick that down there, any new learners would get it. Okay, so that's kind of titling it here, and then any supporting documents you can upload. So in there, you may decide that you want to put sort of like your course program plans if you've got things like that. You can leave it as generic as you want. Things like your policies and procedures and whatnot, I'll kind of come to that of where you should store it, because you can, I'm guessing that policies and procedures don't change no matter what program they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will store somewhere else. This is very for anything that's your induction. So that's any supporting resources you may use. Now, if you then click on the outcome section down here, you can then label it into whatever structure you want. Now, what are your induction documents? Other than, I know you've sent me that one, but what else would you have?
At the moment, it's pretty much individualised to the employer.
Okay.
So the self-assessment is the sort of standard theme that runs across all the programs. It doesn't matter which student, that self-assessment document would be what that student would have to do, regardless of the sort of bespoke elements that we build for any other employer.
Okay, all right. So what I would then do then is, in your induction, you can delete your criteria just by right-clicking, and I would actually delete them off. Oh. Delete. Okay, come back to that. So within there, so the first one, what is it? And then here, this is from scratch. Now you can, where it says copy existing recording form, once you've already built some, they'll show down there, and you can select them. So when you go into a different course, you can just click on it and upload the same one if it's obviously relevant. But for now, because we've not got one, I'm going to do it from scratch. And then it'll open this pop-up box. This will all look a bit nicer soon. They're updating the user interface and how it looks to be the new Learning Assistant rather than the old, which would be lovely.
When's that due, Amy?
I think it was end of this month.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty soon. They've been working on it for a while, but obviously it takes quite a long time apparently. Like, I'm not very good with the coding. But yeah, well, I think they were planning on getting it out at the end of January, but something got in the way. So it is coming soon. They've promised me, because I hate looking at this old LA. So I'm just going to split screen into this form so we can see the two. So now your title, and then when I think at the same time the user interface is built in, but you're going to be able to put your like logo on forms and reports as well soon. I know that's in the pipeline. So at the moment, when it looks quite sort of a plain form, logo in there as well. Let you know on a side note. For 10, would you prefer maybe something like a radio box, and then you can have your choices as 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Would that be probably better?
There's sort of 3 areas per question, isn't there? Any sort of comments?
So could they maybe type it in then? Could they maybe type it in then? So
yeah. So there's
1 to 10. So write the number in.
There's 3 different areas.
Yeah, I can see that. So what you could do, copy and paste. That's going to be so much quicker, isn't it? Text will be there, and then I'm going to go in for bottom of there. Would prefer some, could either rewrite it or go, is there a development need? And then you could type, would you prefer them all typed in?
Well, is there a development need? Would we be able to change that to a by the options, yes or no? And then yeah.
Yes. And no, like that.
Mhm.
And then comments. Would that be from the learner or from the assessor?
I believe it's from the learner, isn't it, Liam?
That's how I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sent to the learner.
Okay, so then we'd just make sure, so the learner would do all of this. So candidate would be able to write in it, and do you want the assessor to be able to comment in any of them?
I think that's a really good option, really, if the assessor can do that. And actually, it might be worth us thinking about at some point, Liam, as well, whether or not the verify would want to, so you can see distance travelled.
Yeah,
but for the moment, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good like investigation for next. But yeah, definitely having the assessor to be able to provide feedback would be good.
Okay, yeah. So that's who you would put in who can modify. So on that top one, I've put the assessor and the candidate. You can also then put in rules. So in that top one, I'm going to put it needs to be a digit.
Yeah.
So that it knows that needs to either have a number in it. They can't type in it and go, well, I don't really know. That one's a yes or a no, and then the comments, they can free text in there. So if I do at the start of that comments, I can do learner comments, and then you could always have another one down here that says assessor comment. And then permissions, that one would just be assessor, and then that one would just be the candidate. How does that sound so far?
Great stuff.
Yeah? And then,
that sounds good.
Great.
Yep.
And then from there, we'd work through. Now we've got 4 seconds, like just the screen, because I'm going to quickly close down my Teams, because it is dry. I can ping in. Great. So just a thought at the top of that, I might do employment. There we go. So does that make it a bit clearer that that's what it's for?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that. Okay. So are you happy for me to carry on?
Yeah.
Now you've seen that, and I'm guessing they're all the same. And what I might do is go through the bottom with you. So on here, what we would do is just do a text signature, kind of get round, and then obviously they'd have the acknowledge button as well. So then I'd do them at the bottom. So I can take that away within just after this, and I can build all of that, and then get Glasgow to share it with you, and then you can import. They can import that into wherever you see fit. But for now, does that look like something that would help? Obviously, with the paper based, and it's sitting within the unit.
Yeah. So what does that
for now? Go back in and edit it. So back into your actual, I'll go into the learner so you can see it from their point of view. So in there, you've got that. To edit it, you just go in. You can also upload your own documents. So if you've got anything, any Word documents that you need or PowerPoints or anything, then you can upload them into here once you've saved it. And then all them resources sit with your induction one, can reduce all that paper. Maybe the assessor actually. You as started, you'd have to go into unit selection and as like an additional unit on this one for now. So I had a bit of a play with this. Would add on there show like this. Once yours is complete and uploaded, I'll record it and log in and send it you as a video as well. So they'd see it as a title here, and where that says funding, yours would say induction. And then as they click into it, all the documents would appear. I'm just trying.
You know, when they're updating, Amy, sorry if this talking over you while you're trying to do something that hinders you. Is Sitting Guilds ever looking to create one area, maybe a drop down, say
to do, which is why obviously because the same functionalities are within the assessor and the IQA environment, it's really easy to mirror that and things. Personally, laughs are, well, it probably is. So I'm just put this on this learner that I've got the login details for. No, want as well. You know when you select course codes, I really want the course codes on. Sorry about this. Bit fiddly. Hopefully that's on there. Yeah. So have you managed to go break? You can see my brain's going now. Brand new learner, and I call it like Cube Learner. I'll build that induction form within that learner and then send you the login details for that. So I'll give you access for my demo site and that learner login details once the form is completely built, so you can see it as a learner. Does that make sense? Look like if I were over here, then there we go. So it'll look like this. So that'll be your question at the time, and then they'll be able to type in their answer into the document. And then the next one will go down there. So 1 to 10, it'll be like 9. And then obviously it'll be a smaller box for that. So that will be, learner comments. I know nothing about ERR.
Okay.
Normally what I'd get. And so it would come up in that writable structure. Now, if they're using that in their phone or on their tablet, it opens it up, and then when they save it, it maps back in.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're on a laptop as such like that, then they'd just press close on it if they want to save it. And then they'd save it and upload it as a piece of evidence. But then that would sit and look like a normal unit that you've got. Whether it be in a standard or in a
something at the bottom.
That's the learn option. And their induction is there. They've got ES as far as an actual unit. Yeah.
Sorry, that induction unit that you created, or that ESFA that you're demonstrating on, that creates that writable PDF.
Be automatically mapped. Upload it, and then download it. Would save.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if they're on the phone, would they have to save it to their device?
No.
Then to go back?
And I can't obviously demonstrate the app. But have you guys downloaded the app for Learning Assistant?
I haven't. Liam's got it on his roadmap to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you
I haven't yet, but
yeah. So if you download the app, and then when you log in at the start, it will say to you what's your like you need to put in your so mine is Demo Amy is my site. You need to put in like your centre name. So what I will do is this morning I'll build that form. I'll send you that learner with their login details for the desktop, but I'll also send you that learner's login details for the app. And then you can see it on the app as well of how that would work, because obviously I can't demo it over my laptop. Awesome. So you will have all that like dummy learners access and login details to both, so then you can see.
Okay, thank you.
And then if you're happy with how the build looks on that form, obviously we'll send it to your live site, but then anything else that you would want building, if you want me to do it, then we'll just keep reviewing it like that and build up your portfolio based on your forms.
Okay.
Is there any questions on how that works? Is that kind of what you were expecting from it? For it to like
Yeah,
build
I think.
unit?
Yeah, it was just a question of how did it show progress, but it would show progress, but
Yeah, so your progress
show progress as
would
the
add
evidence is
in
basically there added directly.
the
Yeah.
completed bit as well. Have you seen what the new progress bar is going to look like?
I
I think it
fire
was
away if you.
Are you coming
I
to
think it was demo.
Are you coming to the digital days at all?
I don't believe so. If I don't have a no, I don't recall.
Ones. The roadmap of what's changing in the system, how to deliberately use Learning Assistant for all of that. This bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
If it's been started, etc.
See, our standards have been built. I think we're on version 3 of our standards.
Yeah, because you've done that yourself, haven't you?
Say again.
You've done that yourself, haven't you?
Yes, we have. But because when the first version was built, there was initial feedback. I think it was because it was basically built on the back of a sort of design or program model that the quality team put together.
Yeah.
The quality team put together quite an extensive, quite a granular plan, which meant that the builds took quite a long time to build on Learning Assistant. But then when they were reviewed by heads of operations, they felt they were far too in-depth and far too challenging. So we basically started over and we've ended up with version 3, which solely indicates what the standard is. Now, whilst that's sufficient to say, yes, these are all the areas that you must endeavour to cover throughout a standard, it's not necessarily providing those aspects of the program design, because we will have a toolbox or we will have a scheme of work which will indicate what that program design is.
Yeah. So
it's, I suppose it's making best use of the functionality and the build within Learning Assistant rather than just solely adding
that program design. Who would see that? Would that be like your assessors, so they know what they've got to do?
Yes. Yeah.
Almost like a training manual, but for the assessors.
Yeah.
And would the learners see that, or just that?
So say that again. When our ideal plan is to take that guide, and rather than somebody having to read the guide, that the guide is already built within Learning Assistant and sort of demonstrates the journey without some. So somebody can make reference to the toolbox. That's great, because that's basically the overarching plan. But if the plan is built into Learning Assistant, so for example, on Unit 1, it would be the induction, and it would be taking them through that self-assessment, and then it would be planning out what the next courses of action were. The toolbox will indicate what the next course of action is, and it will say, on this particular visit, we will be doing this element in relation to the standards, or you will need to be aware of this element, or you will need to complete a task on this element, or we'll do a discussion, or we'll start planning for your project. So it's us using Learning Assistant to its fullest sort of functionality and ability.
Okay, but you'd want
based on that toolbox.
So do you?
Because at the moment it's just
is that individual per learner, or is it kind of follow the same structure for that course?
Same structure for each course. It might have individual elements for individual employers, but that's where the toolbox would indicate that. So
is there somewhere where, so would it be acceptable to have that resource stored, and then in the contact diary, the assessor will go, we have completed this bit today, have a look in your toolbox for next steps, and then it's stored within Learning Assistant? So for what I'm getting at here is that the resource library, I'm wondering if it could be stored in here. So you can upload resources into folders and then share them out individual courses. Or, sorry, so you could build a folder, for example, within here. That one's called Overview. And then it would sit within the home page of each of the assessors.
So is it just visible to the learner or to the assessor?
Well, you could do it to bonus. So this could be your, do you say toolkit, or within that folder. If I just get a random guide, just for it in there, and then what you would then, where it says resources, and then you'd save that, and then the assessors only or the trainers would get in their resources. You could also have documents and resources in there. Even that's what I was saying about your policies.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay, good.
Does that help, or am I in the wrong ballpark?
Yeah, no. I think as a possible, I mean, to be honest, we've got we've got a real sort of mapped out year. So this is probably a real helpful way that we can support the tutors, where they've got that one port of call. So rather than something being stored in SharePoint, or rather than something being stored in Canvas, where it's not necessary, that's more for the learning. Yeah, that's definitely a good sort of interim measure.
Because then,
but I suppose going forward,
your processes, then would you maybe do it as a process map?
I've never really seen how this
is on the home page, and in your resources, them YouTube resources. Now, Sam Upton, who does my role as well, she's recorded a really, really good video on here for that processes, and all on learning tick, 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 tick. But that solve that challenge, if you like. So your process might be do induction, and then the next one might be do your ERR, or whatever that mapping is, and then you can share it out per learner or per assessor, and then their tasks will show on their homepage. So let me see where this one is. So this.
Am I right, yeah? The assessor would see.
Business admin learner, if I put that in there.
Not like a for, so if we had this.
But your point, if you've got 50 learners on there, you're going to be ticking, you're going to be pressing a lot of buttons, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let me see if we can get that updated. It's a good point, that. I can't believe we've never thought of it. Process manager, say, by course. So whoever's on that course, it automatically syncs to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't do this retrospectively. We would do this for any complete rebuilds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The standards change every 3 years, so they'll be due. When does it start? 2017. So they'll be due next year, or for a re-evaluation at least at some point.
I can ask, because otherwise, if you've got all your pros, a lot of clicking around, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me see.
Thanks.
If I can get that on. If I log in, I'll show you the assessor side of it. But yeah, because otherwise that will take you just as long as anything else. Learner that relates to, and then when it's due, and then they tick it off, and it'd be like tick boxes of when it's been done or not. So what if I take it back and say if that can just go so that it would automatically show all the learners and they could tick it as a whole, like so on individual learner levels. But if you could move every learner to have that induction document or that induction process in one slog, then that would save you a lot of time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask Kirsten that and see if it's something that we can get in. Otherwise, it will take you forever if you've got all them learners. Okay, let me take that back to her and find out, and hopefully come back with some good news for you.
I mean, because
can I build the form?
If we built the process before we had any. Sorry, if we built the process before we had any learners on the course, would that mean it would automatically be assigned to any learner that was then enrolled?
Not that I know of. I think you have to do it by learner, individual. But maybe that's a good idea. Like when you've built a unit, when you've built a process, maybe it does the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask Kirsten if
if you could.
Yeah, definitely.
Attach that process to that new build, then that would that would then automatically assign to each student on. Yeah, and I think that'd be good.
Yeah,
That's possibly why it's not been used before then.
yeah, it could be, because it would be a lot of work. Do you do like customer service, business admin, something like that with these guides? What have you got?
Yeah.
Do you want to send me one of them guides that you've got, that you're looking at putting in here? And then when I'm doing this learner this morning in these forms, I can see what I can do with that. It'd just be good to have a look at one to see if I can get it in and looking right. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Because then you can see that when you log in as well.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get a hold of one for you.
Great.
No problem.
Great. So for now, if I focus on building that form and then seeing if you approve or not, and then seeing if there's anything else that you want building, if you want it sent to your live site, I'll also ask about that process manager and see if that can be made any simpler so that it benefits. And I'll check on if them new units should have gone automatically into the learner, that you were saying that you built a unit and then it wasn't, you still had to select it.
Yeah, okay, great stuff.
And I'll send you the video and I'll send you the learner login details for online for my demo site and the app.
Fabulous. One thing before you head off, Amy, the packages. What's the benefit of packages?
There is not a benefit really. The packages was your old style when it all kind of came as a bundle. I think when it was like MVQ text, maths, English kind of came as that separate bits. I have never seen anyone use a package.
Okay.
In the 9 months I've been in the role, I've never seen it on anyone's site. Have you got some on your site?
No. It's just like for
nothing different than the build. So when they build a course, they used to in that as well. Now, as they've kind of developed, they've all been built as a course.
Yeah. So we will have standards
that
have, for example, they all have mandatory care certificates. Individual put the assessors.
Yeah.
Or wonder whether. So because we don't want
quals can be built in.
Say again.
So if the mandatory quals can be built in, so you can see all three.
Yes. Whether or not packages would be the solution for that.
Okay. So currently, do you have to assign the learner all three?
Yes.
Can the mandatory quals? I'm not making this. Can the mandatory quals be built as packages? I'll ask for you. That one may take me a little bit longer to get the answer to, because that would be QAD, which are Qualification Assessment Development Team. They normally dictate how we build our stuff on LA. But I'll go back to them. I'll find out if Kirsten knows the answer to that first, and if it's something we can look into. Maybe it's something that they've never thought of, and then I can go to QAD and say, can we do it? But I'll find out and see if there's going to be an easier way to do that.
Fabulous, thank you.
No problem. If there's anything else in the meantime whilst I'm building this, just give me a shout, either a call or email or whatever, and I'll see what I can do. But hopefully we'll get some of these forms built in, and then it'll help you kind of have it all in one place and be able to report on it and store it and be it without all the paper and email flying around.
Yeah, most helpful.
William, so I had a thought. You know how we change the terminology from learners to students?
Yes.
Should it be that we're referring to people as students in here? Because I know on the navigation it says learners. So I didn't know if, like on the forms that Amy's going to demo for us, whether we need to write student signature, but then equally, if the navigation says learners, do we just keep it as all learners, or?
I'd keep it as dictated by the system. So if we can't change it in the global navigation, I wouldn't change it anywhere else.
Cool.
That's our thing. That's something that we've changed as a business. That's not, Ofsted, the AOs that nobody's
They all
changed.
still
Yeah,
refer to
they all
that.
refer to as learners. It's individual organisations and institutions that have made that change. So
Yeah, I just suddenly thought of it because I remember Kev chatting about having to change all that stuff. But yeah, no, cool.
We can't.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because so many centres call everything so different. So like tutors have got assessors.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are life coaches, which I thought was quite an odd one to choose.
Yeah, because we went from like learning development consultants to skills tutors. And
yeah, so there's
they all mean the same thing, don't they? But
yeah, so there's so many different ones. It was
yeah, no worries. I just suddenly thought like when we were adding the forms whether we should go with that consistency with the platform or with what we've got. But yeah, no, it makes absolute sense to stick with learners.
Yeah. Good shout though.
Just scratching the old grey matter.
So yeah, anything else, just give me a buzz. Not a problem.
Magic. Cool. Thank you very much.
Are you speaking to Steve or Kirsten today at all then?
I speak to them all the time. I bother them like you won't believe.
I doubt that you bother them. I'm sure they are willing participants in your discussion.
They walk into London and they're like,
no. I'm still waiting for some dates of when Steve wants to have a look at the administration end.
Yeah.
I mean, I can send him the test site, but if he can send me some dates if he wants to have a bit of a demo, or if he's not really fussed about the demo, he just wants access to the test site, if you could just sort of ping me an email, let me know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll pick up with him today.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No problem. I will. I'll hopefully get this over to you by the end of the day.
Great stuff. Thank you so much for your time, Amy. I really appreciate it.
No worries. I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Okay, take care. Bye.